This is the Hope Not Note podcast,
where we answer your questions and share inspirational stories to fill your soul with hope.
Our mission is to empower hope to those who have been plagued by nope.
I'm Dr. Dylan Caswell.
And I'm Brandy.
And we're here to bring you out of the nope and into hope.
Welcome to the Hope Not Note podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our question this week is from a listener named Kay. And she asks, is the public school system helping or hurting health and fitness? I'm asking because I feel like sports are taken very seriously, but school lunches don't promote a healthy lifestyle as far as nutrition goes. They seem to be contributing more to obesity than to health.
Oof.
Shots fired.
Shots. Heated question, and I think there's
so many layers to
There's
it.
a lot of layers to it because it gets into politics and health as a whole from a country standpoint. So it's an interesting topic, and it's a great topic to talk about. And there's so many changes happening that happen depending on the presidential administration and where their focus is. So we're going to do our best to stay in the middle of that and not lean one way or the other way, because
the way to live.
It's just, we got to see both sides of this and understand it. And I've also learned that as much as this is like a presidential administration type thing, it's also state to state. Because I know in New York, there's been a lot of cutbacks on the importance of phys ed. And our nephew in Pennsylvania has like 5 phys ed classes that he takes. So I'm like,
out of 8 classes.
I'm like, I thought this was like a federal thing, but each state has their own regulations of where they're putting their focus to. And oftentimes it's not so much phys ed or arts, it's more academic, because I don't know if that provides more funding or makes you more competitive with other countries. And there's a lot to it, but we've seen in eras in like the 50s and 60s when like phys ed was emphasized in schools, and you see some videos of what the gym class looked like, and it was like military training, like rope climb, pull-ups, like monkey bars, push-ups, like all wearing the same clothes, shirts tucked in. It was wild. Where for me in gym class, it was playing games and like sports and learning different sports and fun and all that. And I loved it. I wish there was more of an emphasis on that. But then like sports are taken very seriously at some schools, or other schools could care less and don't necessarily have a winning culture. So it's very diverse from state to state and school to school. So I think let's touch on the nutrition part of this. And I'm going to go off of my experience of being a active high school athlete at that time in my life, and the nutrition that we had, and going to kind of assume that's similar throughout, but I know that it's not. That when we look at public schools, struggling public schools, that the food is a bit different than a thriving school that has multiple food options. And so I can talk more to the struggling, poorer public school and the food that we got offered, and know that like if you're not in that school, then this may not be applicable to you, but you can recognize, wow, either if you're a high school athlete that's listening, or a parent, and go, wow, like my kid's pretty blessed. Like they got it pretty well because of the food options that they do have. So anything you'd add into that part of it before we dive in?
Nah, let's just dive. Well, I guess the one thing I will say is if you want to, I don't think we're going to get into this specifically. And so if you want more of like a nutrition, calorie type podcast episode, we just released one like 2 weeks ago that talks more about calorie deficits, but within that we talk about nutrition and macros and what a carb, a fat, and a protein really is. So if you're looking for that sort of stuff, we might touch on it a little bit, but if you want more of a deep dive, and that'll be 2 weeks ago we released that episode. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So diving into it, I would agree that the poor struggling schools are not promoting healthy nutrition as part of their culture at the school, and they might be very much promoting sports, but they're not promoting the nutrition that follows it. So then the kids that aren't in sports and aren't burning off the less nutrient dense calories, like they're the ones that are very much at risk for obesity. I think looking at it from a school's point of view, they have a budget,
Yeah.
and with that budget, they need to make some cuts. And I'm not saying I agree
Yeah.
with the cuts that
You're
are
just
being
painting the
made,
picture.
just painting the picture of we need to feed this amount of children. We have this amount of money. In order to feed this amount of children, we're not going to be getting the best options
Hmm.
that are available because why can you get junk food more in bulk? Well, because it's cheaper to make, and that's what these big companies are doing is that they want to increase their profit margin. The cheaper you can make it, the cheaper that it can be sold for, but the bigger margin you can have
Hmm.
in between that. So they're not made with the best ingredients. They're not what is considered nutrient dense. It's junk. It's high fat and a bunch of different things on it. But the other part of this is that with the budget and the money, they might be looking at like, well, what food are the students going to eat? Because if we start making all these health conscious decisions, but that's not being followed up with at home, now we're putting budget into food that's now being wasted
Mm.
because only a percentage of the student population is eating it. That gets messy
Yeah.
in the conversation because I think the question was proposed as are they contributing to obesity? And the answer to that would be yeah,
Yeah.
they are contributing to it. And I love the way that it was phrased by Kay is like they're contributing, they're not the cause of it. Because the other part of this is like they're getting one, maybe two meals
Mhm.
at school. What's happening outside of school? Are they running to the convenience store on the
Mhm.
corner and getting Flaming Hot Cheetos, Mountain Dew, Takis, and all this? Are they even
Little
like
Debbie
little
snacks.
Debbie said? Are they even eating lunch or are they just waiting to go to the dollar store afterwards and
Mhm.
getting the stuff there? And so I love that. Are they contributing? Yeah, they're contributing. They're not helping the cause,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of other things happening that need to be followed up at home in order to make a significant change.
Yeah.
Because what makes change in budgeting and at the school board is angry parents going in
Yeah.
and saying, you need to change our nutrition. Our kids are suffering because of this. And the
Mhm.
more voices that are saying it, then the more change is going to be made because they're going, oh, we need to make you happy because you are the taxpayers. And without the taxpayers, we don't have a school because this is a publicly funded school that we're talking about. A
Yeah.
private school, different because I mean, they still want to make you happy because you're paying to be there,
Yeah.
but like, hey, we need people in our community to be paying the taxes because them paying the taxes gives us the budget that
Mhm.
allows us to be able to pay teacher salaries, administrative salaries, like all the things that need to go into running a school. So there needs to be follow up
Yeah.
with it. So the schools are not the cause, but could they make a change in that way positive? Yes, but if it's not being followed up at home, how successful is it going to be? Think
Right.
like academics, like
Yeah.
the school can do the best job academically, but at home, if the parents are just like, you don't need to study, all this stuff is crap,
Mhm.
don't worry about it, school's a joke, like what's the kid gonna do? Like it
Yeah.
takes a special kid to say, I'm not gonna listen to that,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna listen to what the school's trying to educate me with.
Well, and I want to paint the other picture. You kind of started to say it, but some kids don't have great home environments to the point where their only meal might be the one at school. And so is it better for them to eat nutrient dense? Of course. But at this point, is it better for them to just be getting calories?
Right.
Probably. And
Yeah.
so I do think of, some struggling families where like their only meal is basically the one that they're eating at school. Like at that rate, just they need calories if
Yeah.
that's the case. So it's tough because I remember talking with my sister who works in a lunchroom and her telling me that their school policy is or they're like yeah, their school policy, whatever. They have these like 16-ounce, 24-ounce slushies, like
Mm.
grape slushies or cherry slushies, and because they're fruit flavored, they're considered a fruit, but they have over like 50 something grams of
hmm
sugar in them,
hmm
but not natural sugar. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so it's tough because in certain situations, like that's the fruit option of the
Yeah.
day. And that, I mean, in my opinion, that should not be the case. But is that getting like a kid more calories and they need calories because they don't have food
Yeah.
at home? I don't
Uh,
know.
oh,
It's such a difficult thing because on the other end of it, and granted, I don't know if this was a public school or a private school, but during my previous job, I had the opportunity to travel to a lot of different schools because we hosted events at schools and we did school assemblies. And I remember going to schools and there was like multiple lunch options. Like there was a smoothie bar over here, a salad bar, there was always like a Mexican cuisine option. Like there was literally multiple options. It felt like a mall food court, but of
mm,
healthy options, because mall
yeah.
food courts we know aren't necessarily the best either.
Right.
And I just remember being flabbergasted because I grew up in a complete different
hmm
situation. And so there's also, maybe there are some schools out there that are giving that, but again, it does go back to like the taxes or the funding or who's paying for that and all that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't know, can public schools make better decisions? Maybe. I don't know. I hope so. Will
Yeah.
they? I don't know.
Yeah. A few points to that. I know a few athletes that we work with go to schools that are very well off, and every day they have like they have a panini press that they can like get paninis made, and I'm like, I didn't even know what a panini was when I was in high school or college. It was you're getting whatever's scooped on that tray and you're eating that or you're not. Like that's it. Like there's no
It's really
paninis
that
being
simple.
pressed. It's you greet the lunch ladies. Hi, how are you? Try not to get pantsed in the line. Your buddy's checking you into the wall. Here's your scoop of whatever it is today. Go sit down and eat it. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. Good to go. Like
hmm
that was it. And it's like, ah, yeah, I went with this panini today. This panini. What do you so it's so different school to school. But to your point, in a school like you and I both went to, not the same school, but different schools, different states, being a poor country school that is trying to make it work, um, that might be the only meal that kids are getting. And as much as we want it to be as nutritious as possible, there is the reality that you got to get your calories and not get into a deficit because you get to a deficit, that's when you get hormonal disruption. Like, oh, the additive causes. Try being in a deficit of 30% and watch what happens to your hormones.
hmm
Like, watch what happens to menstrual cycles. Watch what happens to injuries and bone density. Like, you need the calories. You
hmm
need calories. And then we can start looking at, well, what are those calories, right? But it's like, oh, the chicken with hormones in it's going to mess up your hormones. Being in a deficit is going to mess it up way more.
Yeah.
And if it is your one meal per day, there is something to say of like when we look at the macros, carbs, protein, and fats, how many units of energy, a calorie, is given per gram of that macro? For fats, that's 9 calories per gram, where a carb or a protein is going to be 4 calories per gram. So in the scenario where it's your only meal of the day, it's almost better that you get some more fats in you
Yeah.
because it's going to be more of a surplus that you now have to burn through the rest of the day.
Mm.
The issue is that when you have that, and then you go to the convenience store after and get a bunch of snacks, and then you go home and you have another high fat meal, and then you have another high fat snack at nighttime. And that's where the contributing
Yeah.
factors in.
I think it also can contribute to obesity because of the habits that it's teaching you,
True.
right? Like
Yep.
maybe you're not going to be obese as a high school student, especially if that's like your one snack or your one meal per day because you're not getting enough calories to even like cross the line of obesity, right?
Right.
But it is creating habits that could trickle into your adult life to think like, oh, that's just how you eat.
Right.
I don't want to say that. that's a cop out, but I will say there are so many resources out there that are at people's fingertips, given that we live in 2025.
Yeah.
And so it may have contributed to habits, but I don't think it should be an excuse that you live with for the rest of your life
Yeah.
because of that. Like, have some self-agency, take some control, make some changes. But I also know that there are reality that like you may not be able to make changes, and
Right.
there's so many layers.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's make sure that the school's not off the hook yet with
Yeah.
this because we talked about that angle of maybe where the administration is coming from. But the other part of this is that the administration, I think, with creative solutions, can do both.
Yeah.
They can contribute to a healthier lifestyle and can contribute a high caloric meal that also is given the nutrients that are needed within it. Carrots are not expensive.
Hmm.
Like a bag of baby carrots is $1. A bag of flaming hot Cheetos is $2, like or more.
Yeah.
So for $1, you're getting something more nutrient dense, less calories. Okay, great. But now you have the other high fat thing with high calories. So there are very simple creative solutions that the school can do to
Hmm.
contribute to helping create healthier habits. And to the other point I want to make with this is we won't dive deep into this, but the idea of supplements, the idea of protein powders, the idea of synthetic and fortified vitamins in cereal or just in a pill of why were those originally made? And the original reason they were made is not why they're being consumed today. The reason that they were made is because people that were struggling in poverty, they weren't getting the vitamins and nutrients that were needed because of being in food deserts. So these things were created to help serve people that didn't have access to resources such as Whole Foods. And somewhere along the line, it got kind of, I don't want to say switched.
Yeah, jumbled.
It got jumbled because now these supplements are looked at as being quote unquote higher class, like
Mm.
for the more privileged, like they have more resources so they can get the whole foods and then the supplements to help with that. And the reality is like no, they like these supplements were made for people who didn't have access to those foods, that they weren't getting all the nutrients and all the vitamins that they needed.
Mm.
And here's the thing. You can get as expensive as you want with vitamins and supplements. Dollar Tree, other dollar stores, they have vitamins in them.
Yeah.
So there are ways that this could be done to serve both of the things that we're chatting about. It was more of a conversation to show kind of both sides, well, three sides, the school, the parents, the student, and that kind of dynamic environment that they're all working within. So that's our take on it of
Hmm.
like each school has different things, different budgeting, what's happening at home, what are the behaviors you're getting there, and then are they contributing to obesity? In certain ways, yes. In other ways, like they just need the calories, but in certain ways, yeah, there's a way that you can do both
Hmm.
with creative problem solving.
Yeah, and I do think, okay, if you're in a situation that you have the means to be able to pack your kid's lunch, I do think that that's probably going to be a better option if you're at a poorer school that's the school's not giving
Hmm.
great school lunches. The simple answer is just pack the kid's lunch if you have
Yeah,
those resources. But I know that that's not always going to be the case
yeah,
and stuff like that. But it's tough to I always just my personality, I always want to be able to answer a question like yes or no. But
yeah,
the reality is this is a very gray topic. And so being able to I hope that we are able to paint picture and just give Kay and other listeners some food for thought, if you will, of the different perspectives of the
yeah.
different angles in which this is the case. And really at the end of the day, what can you do better as a
Hmm.
parent, as a child, as a person that works in the school, whether you're a teacher or administrator or whatever, at the end of the day, it's always like, what can you individually who is listening to this do better? And hopefully that'll make your life better, but also make the lives of the people around you better.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll add in, and then we'll go into Hope Story, is that it's kind of our model at Hope Not Nope. I recognized the faults in traditional healthcare, not traditional lunch care, but traditional healthcare. And I was like, wow, I want to make change. How can I impact change? And I love being a CEO and running a business. I was not interested in politics and administration. So for me, what I realized the best way that I can help this problem that's been identified is by empowering the consumer, allowing the consumer to know that they can have self-agency and they can create a lot of change when they're equipped with the appropriate knowledge. So I think there's an example of like working in a cafeteria and wanting this change to make. To me, I'm like, yeah, the administration, they're gonna go, yeah, okay, whatever. But if the students and the parents are starting to say, hey, I need healthier food choices. This food is not serving me. This is not allowing me to perform academically or as an athlete or in the art that I'm in. We need changes and we demand a change. And if not, we're going to come to every school board meeting as a consumer and tell you what we want changed because ultimately these systems have to answer to the consumer. They have to. Because if they don't, well, the consumer can just go elsewhere or not use it anymore. If it's not getting used, they're not making money. So the thing that's fueling them isn't being fueled anymore. They're going to have to make that change. So empower the consumer, empower the people that are ordering the food, empower the students to want the change. Because if other people make the change and the students don't want the change, the students are going to go to the board and say, "We want our fat back.
Yeah.
Give us the nuggets. Like, bring them back. We don't
I
want."
want the slushies.
Yeah, and the slushies, grilled chicken, get that out of here. Give me back those fried nuggets and all the sauces. But the consumer drives the change.
Yeah.
And I think as a neutral political statement, we can very well see that now of people wanting to change Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich because it's not healthy. They never said it was.
Yeah.
It's a fast food restaurant, but the consumer demands create the higher up change that need to be made.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Hope story?
hope story.
Tell us.
So, in the spirit of food, Brandy and I both love ice cream, and most ice cream is both high fat and high sugar, which means you have to be disciplined when you have it.
And
And if
that's
you
just not fun.
and it's just not as fun.
Yeah.
It's because you got to be conscious of it. And when am I having it? When am I craving it? And luckily, we live in this era where there's options now. And one of those options that we learned from our incredible strength coach that works with us for the special ops is the invention of a Ninja Creamy.
Uh-huh.
And we are not sponsored by them. We don't have any affiliation. It's just a incredible machine that we have purchased and has given us so much joy because you get to make your own ice cream. And back when I was in chemistry, we learned how to make ice cream, and I don't remember how we did it. It took a while. There's something with a bag and smushing stuff together, and a lot of chemistry that was just over my head. And this, you hit a button, it spins this thing. You get to make your own flavors of ice cream, and you get to make it high protein, low fat.
Yeah.
Which means
low sugar.
Low sugar, which means you can have ice cream every day
It's so great.
if you choose to.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things of access to resources and being able to get to that. But if you're looking for an ice cream alternative, I cannot recommend it.
The Ninja Creamy.
The Ninja Creamy enough.
Yeah.
And we're just on the we're scratching the surface.
Yeah, we
right
just
now.
really started this adventure,
Yeah.
but I'm so thankful to live in an era where, I can go to Instagram and type in Ninja Creamy recipes, like high protein Ninja Creamy recipes, or I can go to Google or ChatGPT or whatever, and they just like teach me these things because it's been so fun and so nice. And going off of our podcast 2 weeks ago when we were talking about caloric deficits and nutrition and all of that, it's just nice that like at the end of the day, if we need some extra calories because we're not hitting our goal, we could have ice cream and we're gonna hit the goal, but also hit our macros too, which is just awesome. I love ice cream.
And I'm gonna say this, and you can judge me if you want. I don't look forward to eating carrots. I do it.
But you called out carrots earlier.
I know, no, I love what carrots can do for us. I love how healthy they are. But my palate is never like,
let me chop this raw baby carrot.
I get to go have carrots. amazing. Like, it's like, cool, veggie tray. Where's the dip?
Yeah.
Where's peanut butter? Like,
Carrots with like brown sugar and stuff.
yeah,
Like cook them up like,
yeah.
uh-huh.
I'm
But
just
that's
like,
not how we
yeah,
eat
just
them
like a
typically.
raw carrot. Like I said, I respect the carrot. I love what the carrot does for health and for performance, and I have a mutual respect for it. It's not just not something my palate looks forward to digesting. Homemade ice cream that's high protein, low fat, low sugar.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yeah, keep that thing spinning.
Yeah.
Let's get this going. Like, I'm pumped to eat this.
Uh-huh.
So no offense to carrots, just from my palate. There might be people that are like, I love carrots. My
Yeah.
palate loves carrots, and that's awesome.
I don't need a Ninja Creamy. I'm gonna have carrots.
Right. And that's like, wow. That's
Good for
awesome.
you, but we're
Yeah.
gonna take our Ninja Creamy and have some ice cream later.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Well, okay. Thank you for that question. I know it was kind of a interesting conversation
It's just
with
great dialogue.
dialogue and hopefully paints the picture of the complexity of systems, but sometimes how it can be simple and kind of where we look to empower. And that's why we do the podcast is to empower the listeners who are the consumers of healthcare,
Hmm.
of wellness care, of things that they want to get better, but they're unsure of because they're getting scammed or the information's not appropriate or the administrative policies don't fit what their goals are. And we really are just this whole business is to empower that person
Hmm.
and recognize for them that they can have self-agency and seek out the things that they need to get to
Hmm.
where they want to be. So thank you. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. And remember, every day is not just a day to be hopeful, but an opportunity to become hope.
The Hope Not Know podcast is meant for educational, informational, and personal development purposes only and does not constitute any health or medical advice. If you're looking for specific advice, connect with us to work with a Hope coach. The Hope Not Know podcast shall not be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising from any information or suggestions in this podcast.